Welcome back to Building West Michigan. I'm your host, Kimon Kotos, and I'm here with Jose Infante of Independent Bank. And Jose, when we left, we were talking about SBA loans, and we have a recent small business bill that was passed in the legislature and Congress. In fact, President Obama just signed it with the governor. What's the impact on a business like yours, a small independent bank, in terms of their availability of funds and going out and attracting people to come here to invest in Michigan?
A bank of ours, and we're community bank, but we're almost $3 billion. So it has not been an issue for us of having money available. It's been more of a customer's, truthfully, willingness to take the risk. I think what this does, though, is provides sort of a cushion because it gives that SBA guarantee to deals. It makes them more attractive rates, okay, which makes it easier for a client to say, boy, I wanted to expand, but I'm a little afraid the bank might turn me down, okay. Or I'm a little afraid after taking the extra risk. I don't know what my costs are going to be. And so I think what this bill does is, along with some other things that have happened lately, I think it makes potential clients more comfortable. Because for us, I'll be honest with you, we have, we like the SBA program, we haven't stopped lending. If anything, there's been sort of we've had less people asking for money, and part of it, I think, is confidence. Consumers have not had that confidence. So I think that SBA program highlights the ability of that there's money available, and it also encourages people to come in and talk to us. And we have tried to partner up and try to make it right now it is our number one product that we're selling is the SBA loans. Okay. Because it's got so many benefits for the customer.
Well, that's important. And another thing that isn't talked about a lot is risk, and that's a big challenge. And I think that's part of your consulting role in terms of advising people about the risks that are involved. I know the commercial valuations of homes and for businesses has been very tough, but also people are, I think, in some ways more willing to take a gamble on starting a business, starting an independent service operation. Tell us some of the trends that you're starting to see for this area.
Well, for a while, of course, the obvious trends when people were downsizing, professionals were becoming consultants. And we have more consultants than we probably need. It's like having too many lawyers. I can say that since my father was a lawyer, my son's a lawyer. I always can pick on them. But it is, truthfully, people have said to themselves, boy, I just go business by myself. I'm afraid if I got downsized from X company, I go to Y company and they'll do for me again. And professionals, of course, get a little bit more opportunity to do that. But so what we've seen a little bit more of a trend in that, whether it's consulting on how to put business together, or consulting how to turn business around, or sometimes, truthfully, it's just consulting in a sense of how does things work. So there's a big kind of a growth in that industry. We've seen it. We finance people who want to get into that business. That's really one of the interesting trends that have happened. The other trend that's happened, of course, it's the whole medical field. Again, whether you're a doctor who has decided to concentrate on just one part of the field, two people who are just saying, I figured out how to make a new widget for how to that can go into the heart, a heart transplant or whatever the thing is. That's a huge field. That's probably the biggest trend we've seen in Michigan is the medical growth.
Well, this area had been really key in auto parts supply, but we're also playing a role in plastics and other biomedical devices and things of that nature. So I think that's another thing, our skill base. And let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you've seen. You said you've served on a variety of boards in terms of developing our workforce and the kinds of people who are looking at wanting to set up their business and really start their families and make it a home here in West Michigan.
I was, I think, lucky in a lot of ways. Was asked by the county to serve on the first Michigan Workforce Commission under Engler. So I did that, representing Muskegon, and got a first-hand view of how that whole retraining process worked. As a matter of fact, that model is one that the nation picked up. So we're very proud of that. Now, there's been some changes since then, but that program has worked very, very well. The training that they're doing here is really crucial because sadly, we have lots of people who, it used to be, I get a high school education, I can get a good job. Okay? High school education doesn't even get you in the door hardly anymore, and that's a sad part. And so I think that's one of the things that I think we as a community have done a pretty good job of The other piece of this, and we haven't talked about this, is we all have to also had to be committed to education. Our school systems are hurting. We got lots of great schools, but a lot of kids who need help. And that's another part of it, I think, is community leaders, business leaders, we need to make sure we get involved in that, whether it's charter schools or whether it's public schools or whether it's private schools. We need to be willing to help because that's what's going to make the difference for this community in the future.
Well, and that speaks of how our business people collaborating with each other in terms of helping to affect policy that really benefits their community because they have a stake in this.
Right.
And so often we hear about political leaders, but actually business leaders play a crucial role in terms of helping to guide the decisions that are made that affect the community.
Well, you see community leaders, business leaders, let's call it that, getting involved. I mean, I know the group of community leaders here, manufacturing guys, decided to help form a charter school so we can get higher level technical skills. Mm-hmm. That's worked out very well. I think that has worked well. Other people have volunteered and put together how to help Muskegon public schools, improve, or whether there's no insurers, or whether there's, food port, whatever it might be. We need to keep that process going. It cannot be left only just to the political leaders, or actually even to the state. We need to have private industry help in that process. In a lot of ways, we have that knowledge that they don't have to be able to do that.
Well, and I think that's how democracy works when people all participate.
Right.
And so it's not a partisan game.
Correct.
Too oftentimes it's defined in those terms to the
Yeah,
average person.
It's so easy to throw stones. Again, you mentioned it earlier. We all live here.
That's right.
We all going to live here for a long time. Like, if we were going to move away, we all moved away a long time ago. So we're still here, are committed to Muskegon or in West Michigan, and I think we got to make it the best place it can be. And you can only do that by joining forces together, both the business community, the education community, the political leaders, and just do it and make it work.
Well, and you brought up SCORE earlier, and we have a lot of retired professionals. We have people who have served in this community in a lot of capacities, and sometimes it's trying to draw on how to make the best use of the talent that we have, young and old. Right. I hate to leave somebody behind who really had something to offer, and so it's important to recognize that there are people who are saying, well, I've never been asked.
Right. Well, one of the things that has been a hot topic is this thing about how do we keep our young people in town?
Right.
How do you keep? And then for a while there was that cool city thing. We talked about that. To me, this is a pretty cool place anyway. Okay, because we have the lakes. There's a lot of fun things to do here. To me, is you just got to have job opportunities.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's really the most important part.
Well, and if people don't have a regular disposable income, they're not going to buy the services. They're not going to be able to invest and do the things that they need to do. But we're going to come back and talk more about, and maybe get a little explore about who is Jose Infante,
sure,
so people get to know you better.
You bet.
So stay with us on Building West Michigan.